No, and it is my...
Hi, Aaron Sorkin.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you tonight Jessica Chastain.
Hi, everybody. I sound like Kathleen Turner tonight.
Jessica, first, let me say that, honest to God, you saw the first installment. There are 5 more, and this is one of the best performances you've ever given. We've talked about this before. Generally speaking, I don't like you working with writers or directors who aren't me.
Same. Major FOMO and jealousy from this side of the room.
But I think you did pretty well. Can you talk a little bit about how this came together?
Yeah, so I was at the Golden Globes in 2011. See, no joke. I'm rehearsing a play for Broadway, and it's been a pretty intense, emotional week. So my voice is like, we're out. So 2011, Golden Globes is the first time I'd ever been to a awards ceremony like that. My movie just came out, and Josh Brolin approached me, I think because of The Help and Tree of Life. It was such a big year. And he said, you should play Tammy Wynette. And I wasn't used to movie stars talking to me, so I was like, I will. And I did.
Did you know much about Tammy Wynette at that point?
I only knew Stand By Your Man, and I knew the Hillary Clinton controversy about it.
Right.
You know, I think she said, I'm not, you know, what did she say? Some little woman standing by my man.
On 60, she and Bill Clinton did 60 Minutes during the primary back in 92. They needed to do damage control because of Jennifer Flowers, and Hillary Clinton said, I'm not some Tammy Wynette, stand by your man. Wife baking cookies, and that caused bigger problems than Jennifer Flowers.
And she sent an apology letter to Tammy, and actually Tammy and her made up and became friends. But Tammy was very strong after that. She said, why is she bringing me into this, first of all? And second of all, that song is not about being a doormat. And that's kind of where I started when I thought about singing that song. Because feminists are like, oh, I hate that song. And I'm a feminist. No one knows. And I started with, okay, if it's not about it being a doormat and just taking anything, what is it about? And I think it's really just about standing by someone when they're doing things that aren't worthy of them or you. And that doesn't mean staying married to them. Tammy was married 5 times. But she was always standing by George Jones for the rest of her life. And that's also kind of what this series is about.
Wow. Now, I want to get to the songs in a second. But at...
script for this, it was a film script first.
Right.
And I was attached to this before Tammy Faye. Because it was so much longer before. And it was so difficult to get the movie made because there's all this incredible music. And it's a very expensive film to make for drama. And people, studios had stopped making those films. So we had a lot of iterations of like, it's gonna happen, it's not happening. And then during COVID, it was like the very first week. It was the first few months in, and the writer of the script said, what if we do it as a mini series? And they paid, we got all that music that we got to sing live and like, do all of this stuff that would not have been possible if we were on a short schedule to make a film.
I've never done one. Am I wrong? There's no difference between what you did and doing a 6-hour movie, right?
For me, there was no difference.
Right.
Yeah.
How long did you shoot?
Well, we had rehearsed. It was like a long process because we had rehearsal before we started shooting. Mm-hmm. But shooting was probably started end of November until April. And thank goodness they tried to shoot as much as they could chronologically because episode 6, she gets so sick, because she stopped eating because she had the port. So I had to lose weight. And I didn't want to do it where it was staggered throughout the series because then you can't do that.
She's also a drug addict. And to the best of my knowledge, you are not.
Vitamins. Vegan food.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No, you're a freak.
He's now, I'm a vegan freak, but he's now getting there. I'm bringing him another way.
So how did you how did you find that? I mean, there are a number of scenes where you're high.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
Oh gosh, I talked a lot to her family,
Mm-hmm.
and there were two kind of personas. You know, a lot of people didn't see. They never wrote about her as being that because it was very important that she protect that from the public. She had to be perfect or she wouldn't have a career. But they pointed out performances of hers where she was very high. And there was one in particular, she started forgetting the lyrics to her song, and other artists came out to help her. I talked to musicians who worked with her. She had hand signals she always used behind her back.
For the band?
Yeah, whether or not she'd hit a note or if she was in trouble. So then the backup singers would sing something instead of her. There's something in at the end of episode 6. Oh, you didn't see it, but hopefully you guys will go watch it. At the end, there's a song, which I love singing this song. It's Chris Christopherson's song, Help Me Make It Through the Night.
Oh.
And we took this thing she said from a performance that was pointed out to me, where she says, thank you. They're all clapping for her, and she says, thank you all. I just want you to know, I feel wonderful, and I'm so happy to be here. And she's kind of had a stool, and she was holding on to it. But the way she said, I feel wonderful, she was trying so hard for the audience not to know what she was dealing with.
And you said a moment ago that she had to be perfect.
Yeah.
In the world of country music, George Jones could be an alcoholic. It was sort of part of the part of country music.
No Show Jones.
Yeah, a woman could not.
Could not. I mean, in that time, a woman couldn't be divorced.
Oh.
Right.
You know, the idea, she showed up. She's such a badass. She showed up in Nashville in 1960s with 3 kids on her hip after leaving her husband, a divorced woman, determined to make a name for herself in country music. From her sheer will and drive and talent, this voice she had that held so much pain in it. I hear her saying, no one sounds like her. No, I mean, it's just like what she was able, she's a storyteller first and foremost. To me, it was like what she could convey. It wasn't like, yes, it was like she's singing a song, but she really was letting you into what her life had been. She was an incredible person.
You know, when I started watching it, minutes into it, I thought this is amazing, and it managed to avoid all of the pitfalls, all of the cliches of the Star is Born story especially in country music. Things are going to go well, and then there's going to be alcohol and drugs, and you're going to get beaten up.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out why is this so good, and I think it was the acting, the writing, and the direction that made it that good. But I
So funny. I missed you.
I missed you. I want to talk about the songs. Okay. It looked to me like you sang maybe 20 songs.
More than 30.
More than 30.
Yeah.
And not only was that you singing and Michael singing, but you just told me before we came out here that you were singing live on each take.
Yeah, we never lip sync anything. We did a pre-record because to also have the experience of being in a studio that's so good in building character, I think. And it was the case, if something like this happened to my voice, they'd be able to protect themselves, but we never used it. They set everything up that the microphones were live. We would do one take because we would have an audience like you guys, which was sweet because they were so sweet to us, but also terrifying. Because, you know, when you're acting, you can have a moment where you go up on a line or it's like something happens and it's a mess up, okay. But this, I have an audience watching me, and I'm gonna hit a bum note every once in a while. That's just normal, you know, that's gonna happen. And so it was very, very scary. But they put these earwigs in our ears, which was like a little speaker with the music. So then the music stops going through the speaker to the audience, and Mike and I are the only ones who could hear it, and then we'd sing into the mics. So it was just our cold voice. It was just the voice on its own. Wow. And yeah, it was really scary. I was also told afterwards, I think this project was made unlike anything else, because normally I'm told that they blend voices with a computer, where they'll take like another singer and blend it with the actor, which I think is normal practice. I didn't know any of this.
I don't know.
Yeah, we did that. I mean, we didn't do that. Sorry, we didn't do that. So it's like, they wanted it to be like monologues. They wanted it to be like Abe Sylvia was very important to him. He actually started in musical theater on Broadway. He's a dancer and he loves music, and he wrote it. And he wanted all the songs to be monologues, so you end in a different space than you started.
It felt like that. And it felt like that the film and you and Michael had enormous respect for songwriting, and particularly for country music.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we spent a lot of time in Nashville. Rachel Moore, our producer, is incredible. We first started with T-Bone. I met with T-Bone Burnett when we were doing the film.
So he came in. I thought he just produced the album. He came in.
No, he didn't produce the album. So I met him like 5 years ago and sang for him, because I was like, I gotta know, is this ridiculous? Like and then we sat. He had his guitar. I sang "Stand By Your Man." He goes, "No, you can do it. I believe like this can happen." It's like, okay, I'll work. I gotta train. And then I started training with Ron Browning, who's a vocal coach in Nashville. He moved to New York for a while to work with Mike and I. We worked all day, every day. And T-Bone, because he's also the busiest man in the world. Once we started shooting, Rachel Moore, who's worked for him forever, was with us every day on set and did all the recordings. And what I love about this story is, I went to the CMAs and I talked to a lot of women in Nashville, and it's still not an easy place for women in country music. Even if you're a big star, it's really tough, and especially if you're a female producer. If you look at the statistics of that, it's really rough on women. And this job, it's like Rachel's first big thing she's done. And so in a way, just like Tammy Wynette, had this moment and she kind of changed the face of country and she really forged a path for herself, I hope people really take note of Rachel Moore and start using her more as a producer, because she's phenomenal.
I can't remember whether it was Tammy who said it or George. One of you said, I have to paraphrase, I'm going to get it wrong.
That's all right.
You paraphrase?
I know, I feel terrible.
I thought you'd be lying perfect.
Exactly.
I have so many stories, you guys. But yes, okay, I'm going to tell one Molly's game story. There was one time he stopped the tape, and he goes, "You said yeah." I said, yeah. He goes, "I've never in my whole life written the word yeah." And I was like, who am I to question the great Aaron Sorkin? So I was like, I really think you did. They pull out the script. He wrote the word yeah. So you're allowed to paraphrase now.
There will be more days on sets, okay? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Either Tammy or George said something like that you need to live a song. Tammy said you need to live a song in order to sing it.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes and no. I think you have to live a really full life. You have to be interested in life. You have to be interested in people other than yourself. Because when you're interested in others, you can experience things that you're not necessarily directly involved in. Like, I've never tried the kind of drugs that Tammy did. So I didn't live that in order to play it. But I've lived such a full life, and I'm interested in other experiences than my own that makes me able to live it.
Yeah.
Awesome! Great work! So lovely to see you! Can I get a quick?
Yeah, of course, Miss.
Thank you.